There we go. I always have to hear that every time. I wish that, because like I know that I clicked the button, you know.
Yeah.
They don't need to tell me. I know.
She always sounds so creepy as well.
Yeah. It's like
Recording in progress.
Yeah, get somebody in there, like a real person. Just yeah. Simulate the economy, you know?
Exactly.
Put somebody in that seat. Anyways, Josefine, thank you so much again for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pretty wacky like setup here. Like we're just so different time zones right now, but we're doing it. We're making it happen. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's early morning for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like I'm not up at this time. Let's be. I'm not an early riser, but it's fine.
Oh, fair enough. You're doing great.
I appreciate it, but it'll progressively get worse. That's how it usually goes. So it's fine. I'm accepting it. That's just how it is. It's been like 80 other ones. So yeah, doesn't matter if it's 4 or 12, it's all the same. I did do one with somebody in France for this other thing that I do. And that was like at 2 a.m. or something like that. My time. So, no, I mean, it was fine. It wasn't like that or anything. I'm usually up at that time. So I'm like, all right, let me just like try to turn it on a
from
little
the pub, just go on the call.
I did do that once, and it actually worked out better than I expected it to.
Really?
I wasn't like,
I guess you're quite loose and into the
but
I don't know, it gets chatty.
Right, exactly. And I felt, I was like, oh man, like maybe that didn't go so well. And then I had asked I saw the guest later on. I was like, hey, I was a little bit just buzzing there. And she's like, oh, it was great. I was like, all right, awesome. I appreciate it. Like, I listened back to it. I wasn't like slurring my words or anything, but I was just like, you know, it's always interesting. I couldn't do it on like weed though. I don't think. I don't really.
Oh God, no.
No, I don't even smoke it that often. I don't smoke it enough to be like, oh yeah, I'm totally good doing it. Yeah, on a podcast. But anyway, Josefine, I really appreciate you coming on. It's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm glad that we were able to make this work.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. But I want to start here. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Sweden.
Very nice.
So yeah, in a place called Norrköping. So I grew up on a little farm out in the countryside of Sweden.
That's rad. Oh my gosh, just openness, just out there. What would you do for fun? What was your enjoyment as like a kid?
So my parents run this pony riding school for children. So I grew up in this very nice setting, just surrounded by little tiny ponies. So that was definitely my life.
Phenomenal backdrop. I mean, nice mountains. I'm assuming you could see mountains, nice grass, right? I'm assuming.
Not too many mountains, but yeah, definitely some grass and some lakes.
All right, at least nice. half of it I got right. It's pretty good. Percentage wise, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So you're out there in the country. So I mean, how far away were you from the nearest kind of town?
I wasn't too bad. It was like a 20-minute drive.
Oh, okay.
So like not too far out. But definitely enough to make it feel quite rural.
That's good though, right? I mean, like looking back on it now, do you appreciate that more than you did then?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. Like now when I go home, I'm like, oh my God, this is so nice. Because like now that I live in London, it's just constantly busy. It's like basically the complete opposite. It's not a pony inside. And when I go home now, it's like, oh, this is so nice. And obviously like amazing environment growing up as a kid.
Sure.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
That's very awesome. Now, did you get into music or like the interest in music as a kid, like really young, or was it kind of like an older thing that you kind of stumbled upon?
It was something I sort of got dragged into when I was like 15, because like, I don't know, in my family, like no one's really into music. I never had like one of those, you know, like when people, oh, what's your first record? Everyone's like pulling out some really cool, intricate jazz record that their dad showed. And I'm like, I think my first record was genuinely like Hits for Kids, 93. You know, like
good year for the Hits for Kids.
I mean, it's a very good year. But like, yeah, that Hits for Kids compilation CD was like, that was my go-to as a kid. And my parents were like, yeah, great, go for it. So I never had that like introduction to music other than it just being something that would play on the radio. But when I think, yeah, when I was about 15, went to school with like a couple of friends, and then we started to see these bands popping up, these local bands with that we thought were like, oh my God, that's so cool. And we were like, how can we like get to know these guys that are playing in bands? We were like, well, rather than just being bands, why don't we start a band and then we'll be like on equal level? And that's essentially what kicked it off. So yeah, so we kind of had the band photos and the band name before we could play any instruments at all.
It's pretty legit though. Photos.
Yeah. Woo! I know, and then but yeah, then we did the band, and then we were a band for a good 5 years. So it sort of spiraled into something quite serious, which is nice. And everyone in that band is still doing music today.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it really took us on a good path, definitely.
So that was from age 15 to 20-ish?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
This is still in Sweden?
That was in Sweden, yes.
Very nice. So I mean, like, what was the local scene? I mean, it was, people were still playing music around you, but it wasn't like, yeah, like huge bands playing, or maybe it was, I don't know. It was supposed to be a question, not a comment, by the way. That was supposed to be like, but it really turned out into like here's my grandstanding opinion. No, so I mean, there was local bands playing in venues and whatnot to perform at.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, where I'm from, like Norrköping, we call it the Manchester of Sweden. It's quite an industrial place, but it's also quite a good city where like a lot of music comes from within Sweden. So there's a big cultural scene. So there was a lot to do and to go to. So that's kind of how we started going to a bunch of gigs.
Very cool.
And then then the interest obviously grew, and I started to actually discover music in a very different way from before.
That's a good way of doing it, though. It's an interesting way in.
Yeah, that was great, and like I'm so happy I got dragged into it, and also like ended up doing it. Obviously, changed my life. To sound very cheesy, but it's definitely like, because that's what I'm doing now. Like I don't know what I would be doing now if I didn't do music. So
do you think it would be something creative though, or like in a creative field, or would you just super mundane? It's
funny you say that, like, because I've had a day job basically until months ago. Like the whole time, like I always had to like work. Like music has not always been something I've been able to do.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't pay the bills. No, it does.
It does not pay the bills. It hasn't for a very long time. It's only just recently I've been able to sort of quit the job, which is pretty cool. But yes, my day job was very mundane, but at the same time I've always been so drawn to like creative environments. So even if my job wasn't the most exciting, it was for creative agency, and like I was surrounding myself, I don't know, with creatively minded settings, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
Quite random.
What initially, what instrument did you pick up, like when you started playing music? It's
always been bass. I've always been playing bass, and that was from that moment when we started that band. It was like, it's quite funny because none of us could play anything, so we were just standing, like we were like doing the round, we're like, okay, so who's gonna play what? And I was like, oh, okay, Lynn, cool, you got an acoustic guitar at home, so you were the guitarist. And they're like, oh, Victoria, oh, your dad's got a drum kit, you're the drummer. And then Leah, oh, you can play piano, you can play keys in the band. And then we came to me, and they were like, bass? And I'm like, oh man, what's a bass? I don't know. I guess I can play bass. Yeah, it's fine. And then I remember going home from school that day, and I told my parents, and said, oh yeah, we're starting a band, and I'm gonna play bass. And they were like, whoa, that's awesome, very unexpected, but awesome. And then bless them, 2 days later, when I got back from school, my dad had picked up his beginner's bass from the local music shop. and set me up with some lessons.
That's quick turnaround. That's quick turn.
It was
Your dad was on
I think they were like, yes, let's do this. Let's encourage this.
That's great that they liked it. They were music fans themselves. They're like, okay, awesome. Like this is something.
Yeah, that was great.
To get you off of the farm, we gotta get you out of here.
Exactly.
We gotta get you in somewhere else. This is the ticket to there.
Exactly it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really funny. But yeah,
Cool.
I've been playing bass since, so I've never really looked back.
Yeah, which is good. Why would you? That's it. You were assigned bass, and you said okay, and
Cool.
and then you're still living by those rules. You're a rule follower.
Exactly.
I'm supposed to play bass, and that's what I'm doing. Exactly. That's it.
Yeah, very committed.
What bands were interesting to you when you first started playing? You said, oh, I really like that band, or like that, the way that sounds, or XYZ.
I mean, this would have been like 2007, 2008 or something like that. I think
good
the first
years.
one that, yeah, good years. I think the initial bands that came to mind was probably like the Libertines and the sort of Britpop side of stuff, for sure. Which is probably actually why I ended up moving to London later. But yeah, definitely like the teenage years, there's definitely this kind of guitar band, sort of indie guitar bands, I'd say. But yeah, it's definitely like Libertines and Baby Shambles and that whole thing. But then I think I kind of grew out of that, went more into punk. I remember having a big obsession about Bikini Kill for a bit, and couple of, like, I don't know, it always comes, ebbs and flows, always go in and out of different bands and genres.
Sure. But I mean, you're getting a taste for other things outside of the
hits for kids.
Yeah, the hits for kids. But what was the year? I forgot the year. What was it?
Well, that was hits for kids.
Yeah, the key year for hits of kids. What was it? It was like 92. What do we say?
No, I was born in 92. It must have been like probably 96, 97.
You could be listening to the 92 hits in 96, 97. Come on now. There's still hits from that year.
There were fucking great music coming out in the 90s. He's bouncing off the walls to Aqua or some other shit.
Fantastic. So you're playing in this band, one band at this time, right? It was just solely one thing.
Yeah, it's just that band. Yeah.
And what was the name of the band?
It was called Soundglick. It's I don't think you can find anything of it. I hope you don't, actually. I shouldn't have said this. Probably really embarrassing stuff. But it's a wrong spell German thing. I don't know what it's called that. Makes no sense whatsoever. We thought it looked cool with the letters.
Did they have like an umlaut in at some point of it of the name?
What? Oh,
yeah. Okay, well that's sick then. I get why you guys picked it. Yeah, the umlaut. I'm pretty sure it's called umlaut. I could be wrong though. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I don't actually know what it's called. You're fully right.
I don't claim to be right. I'm telling the listeners too. I don't claim to be right at all. That's my guess.
I have no idea. Your guess is better than mine because I have no idea.
We're going with umlaut. That's what we're.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're already off with it. There's no going back. It's the rules. So I mean, you played with this band for five, you said 5 years, or right?
I think so, 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and then until I was about 19, and we all scattered across the globe to different places.
And then you moved to London.
I moved to London, yes, but then I moved to study music in London. The plan was to do it for a year. And I'm still here 10 years later. I never came back. But then I moved to London to, I guess, actually learn how to play properly, because I wasn't, like, everything previous to that, I was very self-taught and just play what I thought sounded good, but I was quite keen to actually learn how to play my instrument a bit better. And I thought it was also a perfect thing to do when you wanted to move away from home. And I wanted like a year would be a bit of like a gap year, a bit of a fun year. And I figured the best way to move to a city where you don't know anyone is probably to study something that you're interested in, so that you then meet friends that are, into the same things, which was a good move, I think.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a really smart way. It's like, I like music. Let me go immerse myself within other people who like music. Super smart. Super smart. Yeah. Very nice.
That's really fun.
And what year are we talking about around this time that you initially moved there?
2011.
2011.
Yeah.
Ooh. Also good year. Good year to be moving. Just in general, not just to London, but even in the States, it'd be good. It's a good year. A lot of boxes moving around. That's my guess.
I like 2011.
So you're at school. You're immersing yourself in this new. I mean, not new, but certainly different. Like just kind of level of music, if you will, with like learning all these different things. And it was just music. That's what you were doing at school at that time.
Yeah, that year, yes, it's just playing bass.
Fully submerged, fully into it. Yeah. Wow. So it
was challenging, but yeah, it was really fun.
Do you feel like you would be where you're at today within music if you hadn't gone and studied that at that time in 2011?
I don't know. I guess like it's always the thing of like where one thing leads to another. So at that school, then I met friends who I then would, play with, or eventually, I don't know, I know someone that then ends up, opportunities brewing. But I don't know. It's, to be fair, like Stockholm or Sweden is also very good for music. So I'm sure I would have still very much done what I'm doing today, even if I was there. But I think it was, I'm really glad I did. I think also getting that like intensity of learning an instrument for a year all day long is obviously really helped my playing, which is in turn, I'm sure it helped me along the way.
I mean, that's just insane to be like, this is it. This is all I'm working on at this moment. That's like super dedication.
I mean, it was challenging because I was definitely the worst one in the class because, you're just so self-taught, and I was like, yeah, I could do. I was quite confident when I went in, but then the moment I got there, I was like, holy shit, everyone is so good, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And it was also like a massive language barrier because my English was terrible. It was the worst subject in school. And then learning all this like musical terms, and I was just lost. They must have just been like, who is this girl, what she's doing? But towards the end, I'm sure I picked it up good enough. It was hard.
I would say so. Wow, you're just going up against a bunch of stuff. You're like, all right, I'm moving to a new place, I don't know anybody, and I mean, I know the language, but I don't know it that well. Ooh, it's an adventure.
It was an adventure. I called my parents many times crying on the phone, but I got through it.
Right on. Were you immersing yourself within like the music scene, like outside of like in the classroom, but it's like who is playing, locally at the time?
Definitely. I think we went to gigs all the time, and I was just, that was so exciting about like moving to a big city and coming from, countryside of Sweden. Suddenly I was in London, and there was these gigs everywhere popping out, and big bands coming through as well that wouldn't necessarily come through the little town I was from. And like, I don't know, I was just constantly going to gigs, which was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it must just been like an eye-opening. They're like, oh, like this is going on, and all these people are coming. Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
you live an exciting life. So I mean, at what point did you think again, like, okay, you know what, I need to start like being in a band again? It's like time for me to get back into the swing of things with a new group of people.
I think I did that quite quickly. I think I found like, when you like in the beginning, I was like, there wasn't necessarily like a group being like creating from scratch at that point. But I remember like looking at, because I really wanted to be in a band, so it's like looked at like online ads or word of mouth and stuff. So I was in like a few bands here and there, but didn't really do much, or like they were only going for short stints and stuff. So yeah, I feel like I've kind of always dabbled in some band, because as soon as I'm between two, I get very restless. And so yeah, always sort of been in bands, I suppose. I don't know, I just love being in a band. Sounds so cheesy, but it's that feeling of like being a part of a gang. I don't know.
Oh,
don't know
all
how to
right.
explain.
Well, I thought it was just about music, but now you're causing mischief. You're running around in a gang. Oh, that doesn't. No,
Not
that's
that
fine.
type of gang, but
Yeah,
you know, when you're
committing
like
crimes. I get it. Sure. Okay. Just causing chaos. All right, that's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, but I mean, working with people for like a common thing. It's like we're all interested in making this one thing
That's
together,
it. And
let's
like
all make
it's
it. Yeah.
very collaborative, but also like when you go gigging, you go touring, you I don't know, you go through it together. And like I love the togetherness of being in a band. Like you play some really shit gigs together, and you play some really good ones, and you go through all these highs and lows, and it just makes you, you know, more than friends. Like you got each other's back, and like it's that kind of feeling that I love. Like that's a big part of, you know, wanting to do music as well. Like music aside, it's just like the cultural aspects of it, and I really like.
And you feel connected with those people because you went through
Exactly. Yeah, and that's also why it's kind of hard sometimes to find bands that you feel, you know, really comfortable in if you're coming into a setting that's already existing. Like you really need to click. So yeah, that's kind of always been very important for me.
Was that the case with Los Bitchos? Was that you were coming in, that it was already formed and you were the new, or was it all collaborative? Like, let's start this thing. Were you at the forefront? Is what I'm asking.
It was kind of a thing before I joined. So my friend Sarah, who sort of started the band, so she rounded everyone up initially. I was still, when that started, I was still playing with my old band, the MVPs. And the moment I quit MVPs, she was just like, Chelsea, like snapped me up, because she knew I was free, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, so I've known Sarah for, since like almost first year in London. So I've known her for almost 10 years now. Same, she went to music school, but a different one, but we had some friends in common. So I've known her for a really long time, but we've never actually been in the band together. And then I met Agustina and Nick through the band, so they've already kind of formed, but it was very early stage of the band, so I still felt like very much a part of from the beginning, in that sense. So but I felt like with Los Bitchos, it was like immediately that we got together, we just clicked, and we've been very tight since. So it's a really, really fun band to be in.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I want to ask you, just even in the initial process, like during this time, like when you first started jamming together, did you feel like a sense of like, all right, this is gonna, I mean, there's something here that is good, that it's gonna, I was your initial feeling after kind of meeting up and in first playing together?
I think our expectations were quite low, because I know Sarah sort of started this a bit of like joke to start with. It wasn't very serious. It wasn't like we got together and be like, right, we're gonna put these massive ambitions into this. Like we didn't really have much of an expectation, but it did feel very exciting, and it felt very different. Like I've never been in the band like Los Bitchos, where we do this just instrumental. I've never been in an instrumental band before, and the playing was very different for me, like coming from like a garage rock punk band to playing this instrumental, like surfy, kind of jolly music. So that was like a massive learning curve for me. So that I don't know, just really really enjoyed the switch in playing style, and that really pushed me to like become, you know, better at my instrument as well, because it's something I never sort of tried before. But yeah, I think like initially very low pressure, and we were like, oh, we'll just do like a couple of gigs, and but then they just kind of the feedback was very good, and we just kept, you know, booking more gigs and having more fun, and then it's just kind of turned in now to this sort of full-time thing, which is awesome.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's been received well.
I mean, but you even in the initial stages of the really early days, as you're like when you're kind of just playing a few gigs and whatnot, was there anybody that even remotely had that sound that you knew of at the time, like in the surrounding area at all?
Not really, no. It wasn't anywhere we're like, oh, we'll make it sound like this, or like, I don't know. It's quite a mashup of influences, I think, and I think that comes through in like in a sense where it's not really anything that I can think of, especially in London, that is like the same. You know, it's all very similar.
Sure.
So yeah, no, it was quite refreshing in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, there of course is other bands like kind of playing along that, but not at that time in that place. You guys had that was just you guys, pioneers of the scene over there. How does that feel? How does that feel to be groundbreaking?
I mean,
trailblazers.
If you say so.
What were the first couple kind of tours like when it started kind of like, okay, like let's start, you know, moving kind of outward and trying to play in different places?
We did. I mean, sorry. The only tours we did.
I don't want to hear sorry one more time. I don't even want to hear it. We're all human here. We get it. And if that annoys you, well, piss off, as they say.
Turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off. You don't deserve us.
Yeah, in the beginning we just did a bunch of like support tours, which was really fun. So yeah, I think we did just a year or so of just support stuff. So we never did a headline tour properly until like this year. But yeah, it was I'm trying to think of what we did in the beginning. We did some tours with like the Murlocs. That was really fun. When they come over, and yeah, in 2019 we did like a tour for Mac DeMarco, which was really fun. I think that was the point where we felt like we were kind of like, oh shit, we were a real band now. We're actually doing it like as a band should, you know, we're touring, we're gigging. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a very memorable tour.
I mean, I would say so as well. Yeah, I think that those two are very, very good tours to be a part of.
Yeah,
and
that
definitely was pretty early on to in the grand scheme of things of touring with those bands.
I'd say so. Yeah, we had to kind of grow up quite quickly when we landed that support tour, where we were like, oh shit, we played like these, you know, small stages across the UK, and which has been awesome. But like now we're like, oh shit, we're gonna do, you know, bigger shows. We're like, okay, we need to really get our shit together here.
And did you feel like you were ready for that in some of a sense? You're like, all right, it's time, like it's like time to step up and like just go to like the next kind of
I think we were ready. I think we were ready mentally, but also we had to like be pushed into it. I think if you had asked us, be like, are you ready to play this? We'd probably be like, no, but we're gonna do it anyway, and we just have to wing it.
You would never say no. You're like, yeah, no,
exactly,
absolutely, we're ready. Yes.
No, we're ready. Yeah, fine.
100%. Where were you guys touring? Just like, I mean, around other parts of Europe, I'm assuming. Initially,
that was mainly around UK.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of European dates. But yeah, no, it was mainly the UK tour. But then it ended, the McMurphy one ended randomly in Istanbul, in Turkey. So at the very end, we were like, right, let's get on this plane and just go to Istanbul, which was awesome. So yeah, that was quite an experience. That was probably the biggest gig of them all. So it was good that it was at the end when we were a bit more warmed up. Yeah, it was really fun.
Just cold open the first one, just like a packed theater
Oh gosh.
or something. You're like, all right,
It's terrifying.
let's do this.
Yeah.
How
Mental.
how do you feel when you look out and you see like a really big audience in a packed house, or a packed concert or something? Like, how does that make you feel when you're like, wow, like look at all these people?
I don't know really. I mean, it's obviously quite exciting.
I can tell by the way you just said that. Yeah, it's very exciting.
So exciting.
It's cool, I guess. Yeah.
No, it's really fun. I especially love when so we have this little cheeky hand dance that we do quite often live, and it's not usually the crowd size doesn't usually sort of, I don't think about it too much until we do that song where everyone does this like hand dance, and that's when you see like how many fucking people there can be, like in one place, which is really cool. And it's nice when people are engaging. But yeah, I don't know really what goes through my mind. Don't fuck it up.
where did this come? How did that come about? I've seen it, and for those who haven't seen it, I will link it in the little bottom thing. It's a very nice video of you guys doing it for KEXP. There's a great performance of you guys doing it. But how did that come about?
So we have a friend called Kika. She's I don't know, she's one of our best friends, and she's basically a member of the band, even though she's not playing. But she's basically our Bez. She's our hype girl, and she loves dancing. And it was she who just started. I think it came from like her like voguing vibes. And she started doing it, and then we were like, oh, we love this. This is great. So then we started doing it, and then it just became sort of a little tradition, between us. And then we're like, oh, we could do this live, it would be fun. And it's just kind of stuck since. But yeah, sometimes she would just come to practice to hang out, and when we were playing, she would just dance like randomly, and we would be like, okay, keep going. This is cool, we're gonna have to do this section again, but you just keep dancing, it's fine. And even like when we recorded the album, she was in the studio with us, and same thing again, she was dancing. We were like, you know what, we had this idea where we just like attach body percussion onto her, so we had like attached little bells and stuff on her body, and then we're like, cool, dance this track, and then we just hit record, and then we like got that in there a little bit. So yeah, she's coming from her.
Very cool.
Her voguing. It's nice.
Do you feel like there's a certain kind of feeling like between yourselves and the audience while you guys play? There's like do you feel like there's like a sort of like a fun spirit, just coming from back and forth, reciprocated between you guys and the audience?
Yeah, I think so. Like if it's a good gig, then you will naturally feel a sort of buzz from the audience, and you're doing a good job if you can tell they're having a good time. I think it's highlighted by the type of music we're doing. I don't feel like I've had this experience before, because I've been in like heavier, louder, faster bands, but this is kind of like, oh well, this is a bit of like a party vibe. You go in with the mindset like you'll have a good time. At least I do. Like it's hard not to have a good time playing our music, in my opinion. But it's nice to see when that's like transmitted onto the audience. And I think especially now coming back from not having been able to gig for 2 years because of COVID, I think coming back that last summer when the festival started to happen again, and see the reaction then was just awesome, because everyone was just like gagging for it. Like no one has been to a gig in ages. We haven't played a gig in ages, so it was just like a win-win in vibes, which was really cool.
Sure. how did you feel the very first time that you played a show? Like how did, like, I mean, after after just taking that hiatus, did it feel like,
Yeah,
did you feel like rusty, or did you feel like, all right, I've been waiting for this?
it's a bit of both. Like maybe a bit rusty, but also yes, I'll be waiting for this. But yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking because we went straight into quite a big like festival stage, and we were like, holy shit, we haven't really, like eased into this. But it was amazing. Like we had the best time. Honestly, it's still like one of my favorite gigs because it's just, you could just feel it, and you're like, this is why I do music, or like, this is why music is a thing. Like it all just clicks again because it is easy to get a bit lost when you're not doing it for a while. But yeah, it was just like a great reminder of sort of why we do this, why we do what we do.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Do you have any sort of preparation that you do personally before a gig? Like, do you like to do something like a ritual of some sort, or just like stretch or something before you get out there and just start, doing your thing?
We have a little band ritual, but it's quite ridiculous.
If you want to keep it a secret, that's just what it is. Keep it.
It's no secret. It's no secret. What we do, we kind of get into a little circle.
Mm-hmm. So far, so good.
We milady each other.
Okay. No, that's good.
So it's like basically we call each other milady all the time. I don't know. We're just like, oh, milady, I'm sorry, milady. And then before every gig, we always do like a milady each. You kind of have to like jump and do like one milady, and then two milady, three milady, four milady, and then we do all one milady together. We're like milady, and then we go on stage.
I mean, it's very respectful. It's very
yeah. It's like a little greeting to each other.
Yeah, and it seems like you just really, there's like no, the chemistry in the band is not very nice at all. Everybody hates each other, and it's not fun at all to be in.
Yeah, don't really like each other really.
Yeah, from what you've told me, it just seems like it's like, yeah, we're just doing it for the money. We don't enjoy doing this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Indeed. I mean, everything for the paycheck, right? That's just, there's no fun in it. Yeah. That I get it. It's fine. No, that's amazing.
It's quite silly, but it's fun. We always drag people into it as well. If they happen to be backstage with us or in our dressing room right before we go, we're like, come on, everybody, milady time. Yeah, if anyone's around has to milady with us.
It's the ritual. That's just, if you're back there, you better be ready to be a part of it.
Yes.
Oh man, that's fantastic. And you got to touch on this a little bit earlier. Like, it's like hard to not be happy when you're up there in playing. But if you did have like if you were just like going through something, or something was bothering you at some point during the day leading up to like a show or a show on the tour, does being up on stage change your mood? If you are in a kind of something's lingering over you or something like that?
Definitely. Yeah, it's like the perfect distraction to any problems going on. It's definitely like it always puts me in a good mood, like in a better mood than before. Like it's never done the other way around where
you're in a great
mood like, afterwards.
God, that fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I'm bummed we did that show, honestly. Now I'm bummed out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's always been like a mood booster. Mm-hmm. But I think that's like any like playing any kind of music, I think always boosts my mood at least.
You guys all write together when you guys are trying to formulate a song, or is it kind of like separated? Kind of like you write something and then bring it to the table, and everybody else will write their parts, and then you kind of just come together and write it like that?
It usually starts off with like quite separate. So yeah, like Sarah, who's a guitarist, she she's the sort of main songwriter of the band. So what usually happens is that she preps sort of a demo of like, not like, yeah, just a demo, and then she sort of presents it to us, and we can then sort of, I can like work out a bass line for it, and we work out drums and stuff in practice, and it's a bit of back and forth, and then we kind of go into rehearsal and like actually properly try it out. So we don't jam really. We're not a very jammy band. It's usually quite like Sarah really likes to write sort of at home, where she can try things out, and same with me really. Like I wouldn't call myself a songwriter at all, but it's I find it quite comforting to like, if she sends a demo that needs, you know, baseline work on, then I'll also probably start off doing that by myself at home, try out what works, what doesn't work, and sort of send it back to the group and see what they think, and then we try it out again in practice, and then they sort of develop over time, don't they? Like from being a demo to then being, you know, played live, and then again being potentially, you know, recorded for something else later. So I always feel the song's got a bit of a journey.
That's good though.
Yeah.
That's good. There's a story behind whatever the song is that you're making at the time. Exactly. It's always good. It's not hollow. It's filled up with something. It's nice. Exactly. Do you feel, looking at it now, if it wasn't for the bass, it would have been guitar? Do you feel like that would have been the second choice, or that what you would have leaned towards?
Probably, yeah. Or drums. I've never really drummed, but I've always been drawn to that instrument. So it's like nice to hit things. But I guess that's just another part of like the rhythm section. So in that sense, I find it quite fun. But no, yeah, I'll probably end up playing guitar, to be honest.
So you hate the drums? You're just like, I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't want to do it. No, I'm done with rhythm. Rhythm sections, shit. I'm done with that. On to the next.
Exactly. No, I used to have a part of a drum kit at home, but just like back in the day. But it just collected dust. So in that sense, maybe not. But now I don't know. Yeah, I'd like to try more. Like I can noodle a bit on guitar, and I can do some very simple beats on drums. But yeah, I don't know. Bass has always been my thing, so I've never really, sort of properly learned anything else. Which is probably not great.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, like you self-taught yourself how to play bass. I mean, that's just the way you are. That's good. Yeah. I think it's time to be, all right, we're switching it up now. I'm gonna be drums or guitar, whatever your preference would be. Whatever you.
We were saying it would be fun if we did like a song where we just change instruments with each other. Yeah, it would be really fun.
Would you feel comfortable being up on stage with behind another instrument, whether it be guitar or drums or even keyboard or whatever?
I probably would, but I would make sure I know it well enough to be able to sort of perform it confidently. I would never go up on stage for something I can't play and try and wing it, because I know that will never work.
What about just singing? No bass or no anything. You're not playing anything else besides singing. It's just you in the microphone. Does that? Could you fathom yourself doing that for a song?
I probably could, but like I would probably not be very comfortable. But like, yeah, if it was, I don't know. I probably would never go down the solo route, because that seems terrifying to me. But I mean, yeah, I'm up for trying.
That's right. So I mean, the next time you see them, they're just gonna be up there. You're just gonna be up there just singing. No backing band, just you. Acapella.
Oh, God, acapella.
No.
Jesus Christ. I feel so sorry for the audience.
You just go up there. I'm really sorry, but I'm about to do this.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Like a challenge in this podcast. Now it has to happen.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. milady yourself up there. And
I will milady myself up there. But I'm milady. Oh, it's such a sad, lonely milady before stage time.
Yeah, it's one milady. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
It's just
one.
it was just
Oh.
one continuous, like just with all together milady, and then
Yeah.
that would be it. And then there'd just be you up there. Woo. What musical genre do you feel has had the most impact on the music that you create?
Ooh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not exactly like a songwriter, so I think, you know, what I do best probably is obviously to just sort of focus on writing a good bass line, which always then depends on what I'm writing it to, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So I don't know, I've always felt like my job as the bassist is always to just, you know, create something that fits well. So I don't know, it's just like kind of is good. So I think whatever is in front of me, that's kind of what I got to work with. So I don't think there is anything.
There's no one thing that's like a one staple. I got it.
No. Yeah, that's the thing of like being in, you know, bands of different genres and stuff. I've never been like, I play this and this only. I think I've always been very open-minded to different genres in general.
The kids' music. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 90s hits for kids.
92 specifically.
Well,
that specific one.
But yeah,
I know, but we talked about this. This is the best year for the kids' music. We know this.
That's so good. Oh, I should dig it up. I feel like I need it back.
It's not. I think it's time for a cover. Really, if you're asking me, I think
I'm done.
Yeah, it's time.
I'm very done for that.
It's been enough years that it's time to make a resurgence on it. Yeah.
We do that as a warm up too. Like before the Milady, we always listen to. God, why am I pointing at the pen?
No, I got one too. You think you're the only one?
Before the Milady, we always do like blasting some like 90s Euro trash to warm up to.
Very nice.
I guess it's coming in like in day-to-day life, so I'll just pull some hits from the Hits for Kids track.
What is the most challenging part of writing or performing, whatever it is? What is the most challenging part of making music for you?
Ooh. I find it challenging sometimes to just actually accept that it's good enough, you know. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, but it could be better. Is it good enough? Like, let's keep tweaking, let's keep trying something else. And like then like a very good idea can just become a bit shit because you're overcomplicated it, or like, yeah, you're just sort of overthinking it. And I think like that's always been my issue. I'm just overthinking it. But actually what I find, the music I listen to and the music I enjoy, it's always very simple stuff. Like especially with bass playing, I always find like the less is more, and that I try to stick with that myself. Like sometimes there's only like 2 notes you need, as long as it's got a good groove and it locks in with everything else. You just play those 2 notes, but do it really well instead of sort of overcomplicating it and making it look fancy or sound fancy, but doesn't necessarily, you know, do the song any good.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's that, just like sort of be confident with what I do, and sort of let it be if it works.
Do you feel like if you listen back to old songs or old recordings or whatever, you're like, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that? Do you find yourself doing that often if you hear it?
No, not that often actually. I feel
that's
like
great then. I mean, that's fantastic that you're not like, I wish I would have, you know, put this little, you know, whatever hammer on here or something.
I think what's nice about actually coming to the point where you do put it out is that there's just no turning back. And I think you kind of know that, like the moment you're done, but like the moment you're like released it, it's out there, and it's fuck all you can do about it. So in that sense, I don't really hold grudges against any parts I've been playing. It's just kind of, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And if they're, I kind of just move on quite quickly.
Just let it live. It is, yeah. It is what it is. Exactly what you said.
It is what it is. Nothing you can do about it.
Right. Do you feel like there is a certain emotion that is elicited through listeners of your music? I mean, from a inside perspective, looking outwards, do you feel like there's a feeling that is resonating with people that listen to your music?
I mean, it's hard to speak for it. I think the nice thing about our music, I guess, is kind of, you can make it kind of what you want with it, because it's instrumental. There's no lyrics being sort of spoken to you. You can form your own relationship opinion, because there isn't any there to sort of tell you what to think, you know what I mean? So in that sense, I think it's quite open, and I think it's quite what's it called?
Open-ended,
accessible.
Kind of. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like anyone.
No, you said accessible. I didn't have it. You said it was accessible, and you said no. It was not open-ended. Let's be perfectly clear about that. I did not have that correct. That's fine.
Open-ended. It is open-ended.
Or just accessible. It's fine, as you said. It's not open-ended. Let's be perfectly clear about that. That's not meant words here. What song gets the strongest reaction when you guys play it live in your eyes?
I'd say live, definitely The Link Is About to Die. That one seems to go down really well with people, and I love playing it. It's really fun, especially live. It's like Sarah's doing this wicked bongo solo in the middle, and we're all just like, yes. And she just keeps going, and we're like, yes, great, keep going. And I think we really enjoy playing it, and I'm sure that sort of shows as well. But that's the song that people tend to resonate with the most. And I always say, like, to my absolute shock, but also it's the only song that's happened to, is that where people start singing the actual guitar line, because like, it's so weird. I never thought anyone would ever sing along to an instrumental track, you know.
That's wild. Yeah,
like, it sounded like football choir sometimes, which is really cool.
I don't think that's normal, but that's awesome that you guys are making that happen.
Yeah, it's wicked. We were like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, it's really cool.
Do you feel like you're very connected with everybody on stage while you're playing live? It's kind of like everybody's moving towards the same. I mean, as we said maybe an hour ago now, but like, you guys, I mean, obviously you guys are close in the way that you guys are always playing together, but also do you guys feel like you're like, oh, we're all on the same page right here at this time, playing this song or playing these songs all together?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think we feel, definitely a very connection. Like, we're all very much looking at each other quite often and react to whatever is going on, and encourage each other as much as we can. But again, I feel like that's what I was saying earlier, of like feeling like you're a bit part of a gang when you're done. I always feel that a lot on stage as well, especially when things maybe don't go to plan, and also when you're sharing like really high moments of like something, going really well, or like the audience is really, really happy, then like you're sharing that, you look at each other and you're like, fuck, this is cool, or fuck, this is horrible, what we do now. Like, you share, you're there together, and that, I find it so comforting and encouraging, because you got each other's back whatever happens. It's just like, it's so comforting.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Josefine, I really appreciate you coming on here. It's been an absolute fucking pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. But I do like to wrap it up as a promo. Los Bitchos, streaming everywhere, whatever platform you use, that's where you guys can the people can find you, right? everywhere.
Indeed. Yeah.
Spotify,
Everywhere.
Apple, whatever your taste is, that's where they are. And where's the best place that people can go support the band?
What do you mean, like buying things?
Yeah, buying things. Yeah, buying,
Okay, cool.
supporting. Yeah, giving you money. How can they give you money?
Well, in that case, here are my bank details. No, yeah, we got stuff on Bandcamp. We're gonna drop some new merch soon, which is really fun. And yeah, our website got all the little everything collected, got all the merch, and you can see where we're touring and stuff there.
Awesome. And is Instagram the best place as well?
Instagram,
to keep, and what's to
keep up to date, actually. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Very, very nice. And what is the username? Where's, is there any underscores within it, or is it just at Los Bitchos?
No, just Los Bitchos. Yes.
Have I been saying it wrong? I felt bad. I was like, Los Bitchos, and then people have said Los Bitchos, and I was like, I don't think that it's the way you say it, you know? Oh,
we say Los Bitchos, but I mean, completely up to you.
Fine, Los Bitchos. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Go, and that's at just Los Bitchos. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
No underscores or nothing, or 01. Nothing.
Easy.
All right. Awesome. Okay. And is there anything else that we gotta say before we go?
We're coming to America in a month.
Awesome.
Come.
Yeah.
You should come down. You're in California, right?
That's right. I am.
All right. So we will be there in 3 weeks.
I'll see you in 3 weeks.
You should come down.
Okay. I will definitely try. All right, Josefine, I'm gonna stop recording. Thank you so much.